I think there are a whole lot of marketing tools and support and services that Lincoln has made available in a pretty attractive way that I think most of us just aren't aware of. So what we're going to learn today is what they are, and then also how to find them, how to access them, what the opportunities are, give you a chance to ask questions and really kind of dig into what's available at Lincoln in the way of marketing, branding, business development, things like that. So we're very fortunate to have Robin Feit and Linda Heist with us today. And before we do that, I'll do a quick update. Obviously, happy to answer any questions. I do encourage everybody to mute your phones unless you are actively asking a question or talking, so that we can try to keep the background noise to a minimum. First thing, production. Production's good. We're off to a really good start for the first half of the year. We are quite a bit ahead of next year in really every category. We're adding assets at a big clip. Our reported total assets are now over $2 billion. That's a milestone that we've kind of been around it, and we do think there's probably some more assets in here, especially some of the direct assets that are not reported electronically that might push that number higher, actually. But still, it sure is nice to look at the report and see $2 billion total assets for the firm. We're growing fee-based assets at a big clip, like we have been for the last several years. So generally speaking, the business is really good. One number that I'm keeping a close eye on this year is new fee-based investors. And that number is really kind of striking. Last year at this time, we had 26 new fee-based investors as a firm. This year it's 50. And so, while our assets are growing and the GDC is growing, things like that, what a lot of times, new assets from current clients or market action can kind of make that look really good. But what really gives you an indication of true growth is when we have new clients, new investors, and to have essentially twice as many new investors this year as we had year to date last year. That's a really strong indication of what I would say is very healthy growth. So congratulations to all of you, and thanks. And that's what this year is about, and why we're having this webinar here in just a few minutes, is to keep that going, to give everybody an opportunity to keep growing their business the way they want to, at the pace they want to, and with the clients that they're interested in serving. So anyway, very good news on the production front. Second thing I wanted to bring to your attention is an email that went out yesterday from Shane. It was the CAMS updates. So what the CAMS team, the IM&R team, is doing now is they're recording their presentations that they used to do in a quarterly meeting, webinar. And so what they've decided to do instead is to record these and put them on the website so that you can access them anytime you want. Most of them are pretty short. They're somewhere between 5 and, I think the longest one is 20 minutes. But if you'll look at that email that we sent out to everyone, there is a link that'll take you straight to the page that has Steve Mayhew and Chris Cericcio and others doing their quarterly updates. This is really I think a pretty good benefit. I've always thought that Steve's perspective was valuable. Chris Cericcio does a great job on economic updates, and So anyway, I would encourage everyone, no matter how you manage money, if you do it yourself, if you use their models, if you're using TAMPs, there's still really good, valuable information for you to get there. As a follow-up to this, though, I've talked to Steve, and I think in September, once the vacation rush is over, probably the first week or two of September, we're going to do a webinar for WMP advisors and Steve and his team. So everyone will have a chance, and this will be a great opportunity going into the final quarter of the year to have a little more intimate one-on-one conversation with the IM&R team for just our group. So be on the lookout for that. We're still working on dates and things like that, but I thought it'd be a good idea for everyone to have a chance to, to ask questions, to, again, have a little bit more of an intimate opportunity to voice your questions or concerns and to hear what we can expect from the final quarter of the year. So be on the lookout for that. One thing I thought I'd mention while I have everybody on the phone, you may have noticed in the news recently that the CFP board has its own new standard of care now, and this is this is something that kind of in some ways snuck up on us. It shouldn't have. It's been out there for a while, but I think with all the other regulatory noise, this didn't get the attention that it probably deserved. But for everyone that is a CFP, the CFP board has always had its own standard of care. Well, they have expanded that, made it certainly more complicated, but also it's something that goes beyond what the SEC is proposing in Reg BI. So it looks like they have agreed to postpone enforcement of their new rule into next year. But what I would suggest, if you are a CFP, I would suggest that you get on the board website and you look at the different communications they have on this new enforcement rule of theirs, to begin to become familiar with it. Now, I think we're going to get a lot more clarity over the next few months over what they're trying to accomplish. But as a CFP, you really ought to be aware of this. And if you have issues with some of the things that are in there as a CFP, I would encourage you to reach out to the membership of the board and raise any concerns or ideas you might have as a constituent that they're supposed to be serving. So anyway, just a heads up, there's nothing super urgent, but this is the kind of thing, if you don't get on it now, next thing we know, it'll be a year from now and we'll be acting surprised again. So take a look at it. Give me your thoughts if you have any, and I'll certainly pass them on. Compliance at Lincoln is looking at this like every other compliance department in America is. So any support and help you can give us on that would be good, and to be smart for all of our CFPs to be aware of what these rules look like. The last thing I have is a wealth management forum. So October 2nd through 4th, you'll start seeing more and more promotion of this throughout the next 60, 90 days. I would encourage everybody to look at the dates and get them down. This has become a really big meeting. If you haven't been in a few years, it's a huge meeting now, and it's got a lot of energy to it. And I would encourage everybody that has an opportunity to go. So keep an eye out, put those dates on your calendar, and we'll be sending out some promotional materials as we get them. Also, we are working on kickoff dates. It looks like it's going to be in a similar time period, that second week or so of January. But as soon as we get a confirmed date, we'll get that out to you, and hopefully within the next month or so. So Other than that, that's really all I've got today. Does anybody have anything they want to ask me about, or any questions or issues they want to bring up before we introduce our speakers?
John, I've got a question.
Okay.
So with the whole CFP thing, just to make sure I understand it, is there issue if a CFP is selling a commission-based product, that somehow, I don't, but is that somehow running afoul of their standard to be a fiduciary? In other words, a fiduciary can't sell a commission-based investment. Is that really the issue at heart here, or is it something else?
Well, it's really interesting you say that, because I have to tell you, I've read this thing a couple of times, and it's complicated and convoluted in a lot of ways. They try to define virtually everything. So one of the things they've done is they've expanded the definition of what a financial plan is. And believe me, I mean, it's it's detailed. And then they spend a lot of time talking about the difference between fee only and fee based. Okay, there is a very strong fee only contingent at the CFP. And so I think there's a whole demographic of the CFP that is really interested in separating themselves as fee only from people that are fee based. So there's a lot of discussion about that. There is confusion, I would say, on both the stance and how you're supposed to comply with their viewpoints on commissions versus fees. So I got to tell you, I'm a little confused by all of it. I've had other people look at it and gotten the same response. So fortunately, we have some time to figure it out. The CFP board has recently been very staunch in saying, we aren't changing this. Now, you know, we see that all the time, and then they change. But again, I was, as a CFP, if I were you, I would just, there are, when you get on the website, there's an annotated version, there's some FAQs, there's a lot of information on there. So I think the best thing to do is for everyone who is a CFP, just get familiar with it. And that way, when you start seeing some things come out, you'll be able to understand how they pertain to you and your practice. And if you're confused, if you have issues with what's there, let the board know. Because I think that's the biggest challenge that people have, is that it's so enormous and confusing. I think most of the industry is wondering how anyone's going to comply with it. So anyway, long-winded answer to your question, and not a very good one, I'm sure. But take a look and let me know what you think.
Thank you.
All right. Well, listen. Yeah. All right. Well, listen. Thank you for again for being with us today. Without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Robin Feit and Linda Heist, and let them take us a tour through the marketing information with Lincoln.
Linda, we made you the presenter right now, so you're all set to go.
There it is. Okay, great. I think I'm sharing now. Can everyone see that I'm on the advisor link page?
I can see it, yes.
Perfect.
Hopefully everybody else.
So quickly, first, I'm going to just kind of do a reminder of the marketing resources that are available to everyone within Lincoln, and then I'll start going into Broadridge. So just kind of the first thing to point out really is, hopefully everyone is already aware that under portals, we have a portal called Marketing Source, which is where we house all of our marketing materials that we produce internally. In addition to service type of materials, you also have a lot of product materials that we produce for the IM&R team and advisor consulting, and all of those materials are on the new Platform and Products Resource Center. But if you go to Marketing Source, you'll see a few items. We've tried to really cut this down and design it in a way that makes it easy for you to find what you're looking for. There are a lot of materials and a lot of resources. The main menu item, as you can see, talks about social media, how to get started, what are the steps you have to do to use social media. Some of the marketing vendors we have negotiated discounts with, various advisor tools such as Advisor Week Archive, the Rep Bio Builder, and then our print services, which is our third-party print vendor. So as many of you probably already know, there are many materials that are brochure-oriented that we send out to print, and you simply order them from our website at no cost, and we ship them to you. Many other materials, such as the customized flyers and fact sheets, they are print on demand. If you don't want to use, or if you don't have a good, reliable color printer in your office, you could take your file to a local Staples store, or you could upload it to our third-party vendor, determine how many copies you want, give them your credit card information, and they will ship them to you. So it's just trying to give a lot of choices. In the center, I try to promote anything new that I'm working on. So as you can see in the middle block, this Friday we will release our back-to-school campaign, which is where we just kind of pull everything, promo items, social media, infographics, flyers, key material that you would want to use in your back-to-school campaign. So you'll see that released this Friday through Advisor Week. And then just to kind of hop down a little bit, again, there's lots of materials. You can search by topic, by keyword, or catalog number. So everything I produce has a catalog number in the bottom right corner. Some people find it much easier to search by that catalog number if you have a favorite. You'll always see on this page anything that was new, recently created, and then at the bottom, anything that's been updated. So I'm sure, as you're all aware, everything that I post here is compliance approved, and I maintain all of the annual renewals on each piece. Just another little quick mention on this page. When you search for a piece that you want to use, these little buttons on the bottom, like the little green person icon, that indicates that that piece is customizable for your brand, for your contact information and photo and so forth. You can identify it as a favorite. Anything that has the print icon is print without customization, such as this, which would be obvious. It's a generic letter that you would probably want to copy and Hey, Angie, can you still hear me?
Yeah, we just had to mute everybody because we didn't know where that was coming from. You're all set, Linda. Sorry about that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's just a kind of a brief run through for Marketing Source. Hopefully you're all aware of it and you find it useful. I'm just going to jump back to Advisor Link. And before I jump into Broadridge, I want to point out one other portal, and it's called the Business Development Resources. And under here, the first main item is Tech Package. So I just want to show you, hopefully everyone is aware also of this portal, but this is everything about the Tech Package, the services, the offerings, the fees. But most importantly for today's topic, I want to show you under Available Services Broadridge, there's a lot of training materials for Broadridge. So as we go through Broadridge between Robin and I, you're going to see there's, at times it can be overwhelming. They offer an awful lot of content and resources. Within Broadridge, you'll see that they offer a lot of video training. If you're someone who doesn't learn well by video, you can come to our Tech Package, and we have created a lot of step-by-step with screen caps training documents for a lot of the main processes that you would be doing within Broadridge. So again, that's under Business Development Resources, under Portals and Tech Package. So now, sorry, one more. All right, so how do we get to Broadridge? Simple, first place, you're in Advisor Link. You're going to go to Partner Tools, and you're going to click Broadridge for Field. It's single sign-on, so once you're signed into Advisor Link, you don't have to enter your credentials again. The first time you log in through Advisor Link, it does capture your email address, and one of the nice features of that is you will now start receiving all of their alerts. And don't be overwhelmed by it. I've had advisors say they really appreciate the alerts. Every week, Broadridge releases a market week. So if you want to touch your clients, you haven't sent them something recently, or you want to send them a regular market commentary, you have it available through Broadridge, and I'll show you where. So it's really important to get in there and do that first single sign-on and get your email registered. Every month, on the 15th of the month, they'll send you out a notice that their client newsletter is ready. That's a great reminder if you need one. They do a lot of very timely very timely consumer alerts. So there was a recent update to the student loan debt from the government about a decrease in the rate. That alert automatically came into my email. I had the choice from within the email to go right into Broadridge and review the alert, send it if I want, or ignore the email. So it's really some nice reminders that to let you know how frequently there's new information added to Broadridge. So I'm in Broadridge. I'm kind of go through I would say the fun things, show you the content, the newsletters, some cool things that you can do. And then Robin is going to come in and show you how you really get set up. So I'm going to wow you with the good stuff, and then Robin's going to show you the setup. Generally, you would do your setup first, your profile, get your clients in, all that good stuff, so that you can then use the materials. So we'll finish up with that. So just to kind of give you a quick overrun of the main menu items, the advisor and the CE menu items were always available to you for the past year or two that the tech package, or I guess maybe a year and a half that the tech package has been out. Those two services are available at no cost. Some of these other nice features carried a separate subscription fee. And as you hopefully are aware of, earlier this year, we were able to negotiate a deal with Broadridge to offer newsletters and e-cards to all advisors through the tech package for no additional fee. I'm going to show you e-cards, but a quick way to think about them, it will eventually replace all of HTML and e-touch. So they're really electronic greetings, electronic messages, and so forth. So under advisor, this is really the bulk of your content. Broadridge separates content between client communication and advisor education. You can really use everything under both items for clients or for your own education. I'll start with client communication. Before I jump in, I did skip over this main menu where you see these several green labeled boxes. These are really nice if you're not up on your emails or you don't know what's new. This landing page will always show you the latest alert, the latest videos. They do some pretty cool videos that are compliance approved, and you can send them right through Broadridge to your client. And then the most popular items, which I always think is a nice thing to know what others are using, popular calculators and other featured materials. So if you're not sure and you don't have the time to go through all these different categories, you could really just come to this landing page, see what's the most popular, what's the latest, and you could go from there if you wanted to. So under client presentation, you can see there's all these different resources. You can go to, I'm going to kind of try to quickly go through a few of them, not all. Most of them are set up in the same general way. So under Presentation Center, it's all based on topics. So you have all these 11 topics to choose from. Any one of them you would just select. And most of them come in various formats. So for education planning, I have some concept pieces, which are generally one-page flyers or emails. I can do a presentation template, and I can do a calculator presentation. So I'm going to just kind of jump to 529 savings. And here's my content. The nice thing about the item that I chose, in the top left corner, it says approved. So any material that is noted with a green approval is ready to go. That means the first advisor that selected this piece and submitted it to compliance got it approved, and it's now approved for every Lincoln advisor to use. If it wasn't approved, it would say request approval. Approvals have been very quick, pretty much turned around in a 24-hour basis, kind of more dependent on the time of day. There is a dedicated person in compliance who does receive this queue, and it's her job to monitor it and look at it throughout the day and to approve the materials. They're pretty quick and easy approvals. Most of them have FINRA letters, so that's a nice big help. And the way that Broadridge puts together these materials, they're up on the latest regulations to know like which words we can and can't use any longer. So once, if I want to send this 529 savings content piece to one of my clients, I have a couple choices. I can do email, I can do a PDF, I can take the PDF, print it, I can print it here for a fee, I can take the PDF out of Broadridge and send it as an email, or just have it in my office for clients that may come in. I'm going to show you the email. So here's just kind of a quick prompt screen. I'm going to prepare it for Linda Height. And I'm going to specify recipients, and your clients would already be loaded. That's part of what Robin is going to show you how to do that. So when you got to this point, you would already have your clients to choose from. So just a little bit scrolling down, I chose this as a one-off email that I'm just going to send to one person. If I wanted to send it as a blast, I would use this bottom section called Send Blast Email to All Contacts, and then I would be able to send it out to either all of my clients with email addresses or separate groups if I had loaded my contacts by group. I'm going to try to, instead of going from here and opening up Outlook, I'm going to do a preview email. And this is essentially what your email would look like when your client receives it. So it's everything branded for me. This purple box, or I'm sorry, purple line at the top, an orange box, I chose that. There are about 20, maybe more color schemes that you can select for your email templates. I could have selected a banner or an image to go along with it. I could have also selected maybe a color gradient down the left. You really have a lot of choices that Robin's going to show you in the profile. I chose a very simple approach because all of their materials do come with graphics within them. So my recommendation really would be not to have a banner, image banner at the top, because you're going to have images within your materials. So this is all ready to go. I'm going to scroll to the bottom and show you that by default, you have the Lincoln BD and RIA disclosures. If you were independently branded, you would have the additional, something like Linda Heights Financial and Lincoln Investment are independent and affiliated through the broker. And all of that, again, would come through your profile. And then another important thing to see down at the very bottom, I'm not sure if it's too hard to see, but there's an opt-out. So obviously by law, every marketing email vendor has to offer an opt-out. So you could send these out and your client could click their opt out. You will get a notice within your clients. There's a way to indicate any clients a way for you to see which clients have opted out. There's also a nice refer a friend and a find out more. So lots of nice options that it's pretty easy to pull together once you decide which piece you want to use. So I'm going to close here. And rather than, actually, I'm going to jump down to calculators for a minute. Calculators are pretty cool. I'm sure you're aware that on the public website, we have calculators. I know a lot of advisors might walk through those calculators with a client, but these calculators, I'm trying to do the one I did as a test. I can actually run numbers, pick a calculator, put some of the data in, run it, get the results, and take those results and email it or print it for my clients. So if I was just on the phone with a client or talking to a client, maybe about a loan calculator, I could come in here. Again, I could enter my client's name. I could give it a title. I could also spell. And then just kind of fill in some numbers. I'm just going to throw in some numbers. And then calculate. And then here you can see are the results of the numbers I put in for this calculator. All calculators are pre-approved, so you don't, anything that you choose, it doesn't matter what variables you enter, the calculator and the results are approved. So then I could, again, I have different options. I can email, PDF, I can save inputs, I could start over, and I can add to a presentation. So along the way, as you're going through the different materials here, once you find the material and pull it up, the blue menu items always tell you what your options are for that particular piece. So along some of the materials, you'll see this additional button called Add to Presentation. So I could choose various concept or content pieces, add them to my presentation, and almost build, you know, however many pages I wanted, and I'd have my own customized presentation based on a very specific topic or maybe a few topics. Maybe I have a client meeting and I know I want to talk about cutting down debt and goals and personal finances and several topics. I could choose a piece from all of those topics, make sure they were approved, and add them to my presentation. And then I would basically be set for the client presentation to go over those topics or send it to my client. So I want to just kind of, I'm going to jump down to life events. So where Presentation Center and Resource Center are more financial topic oriented, these life events are obviously stages in a life. So just another way to divide up the content. But let's say if I did buying a home, you would see here's all the materials that are available to me if I'm going to be talking to a client about buying a home. I like to share this story. I think this is a great one because it's such a unique topic, but one of our advisors first getting into Broadridge, not too sure how she was going to use it, received a client call about the client was a little panicked, had been receiving, her son was getting ready for college and had received various different college acceptance letters, and she wasn't really sure how to, not to read them, but kind of judge them and see which was the best. There was a very specific piece in Broadridge, how to read a college acceptance letter. The advisor actually just did the search, which I'll show you in a minute, found the piece, typed in their name, and easily emailed it to them in a very quick turnaround time. So just, just an example of, very specific content that you can find in here. So we did calculators. There's also lots of videos. So here's their menu of videos, many different topics. You can preview them. You can do a spotlight on student debt, the sandwich generation, caught in the middle. That's their newest one. You can preview them, and again, you can send them through Broadridge through email. So that's just kind of a good sampling of some of the main items. Most of these categories, business builders, again, you're picking the item or selecting the menu item, picking a topic. Actually, I'm glad I came across business builders. Key numbers 2019 as a business builder. So that key numbers replaced the customized kind of tax contribution limits, all those key tax numbers that we would produce. This is a very popular piece. It used to take my team quite a bit of time to update and verify and get all the new numbers. Broadridge had this particular piece produced and ready to go by the end of December. So, this is really a nice resource for everyone to use and very timely. So I'm going to just quickly touch on CE just because I always feel like it's kind of this hidden gem. So any of the advisors that are CFP, this is a great place to get some CE credits. I believe you can do about 30 CE credit hours. There's just one that Broadridge doesn't provide, which I believe is ethics. So you could almost complete all of your CE requirements through Broadridge. If I load my CFP number and my last 4 digits, go into here, complete any, the approvals automatically go up to the CFP board and are registered almost within the hour. So just a nice tool. You can see here it's not only CFP, but it's CHFC and a few others that you can see listed here. However, CFP is the only one that has a direct integration. So let me go over to newsletters. So it's called e-newsletters. Again, you can email them, you can print them, you can PDF them. So every month I get a notice on the 15th of the month that tells me the new newsletter is available. Comes in my email. It shows me the articles that Broadridge has selected. There's 4, sometimes a 4 and like a mini, so maybe technically 5. If there's an article that you don't care for, you have the option of coming to this section where it has pages, clicking the drop-down arrow, and you can select another article. So this is, obviously the newsletters that I used to produce, Perspective. You can only have the 2 articles that I selected each month. Those 2 articles didn't necessarily work for everyone. Here with Broadridge, you have a lot more opportunity to pick the right articles that work for your client base. You could also produce many versions, like if you sector kind of your client base, maybe millennials, maybe retirees, you could select articles a little bit more appropriate for those markets, and then you could make 2 or 3 different versions. Up top here, it just kind of tells you get some options: full version, self-mailer, color gradient, banners. Robin's going to cover some banner options in your profile. I can I can give it a title, a masthead. I can give it a sub-masthead. I put something in here. I think it's a little too much. If I was really running this for myself, I probably wouldn't have either masthead or sub-masthead. I think it kind of takes away from highlighting the articles. Also in the Create Newsletter section, if you come over to Market Summaries, you will see all of the market news available for you. So as I said earlier, they do a weekly market summary, a weekly, a monthly, a quarter, and an annual. And some of them at times are videos. So lots of options for sharing market news. Internally at Lincoln, we have Steve Mayhew, who produces a quarterly commentary. Sashi Mehrotra also produces a quarterly commentary. So you have lots of options here to share market news. And I just want to go back. I'm so sorry. I just realized I wanted to add something to newsletters. Over the years, advisors have asked me, could I create my own article? And unfortunately, that did not work in our current setup. However, Broadridge does give you the option to create a custom article. I've played around with it. It is only one article that you could do your own, and it would always be article number 1. So if you want to write and have your own article and have 3 of theirs, you have that option. I'm going to do a quick preview just to kind of show you how it all pulls together. It does take about 30 seconds or so to run, so bear with me. And while that's, oh, actually here it came up. So I'll show you the email version. And again, I chose that color bar and the line. You can make it any color out of the 20 or so choices they give you. Very easy to see, very clean. You can see here's where I wouldn't necessarily need a title for my newsletter, or I certainly wouldn't need both of them. And again, you have the option of choosing an image banner. I don't think it's necessary, given that you have about 5 images already in the newsletter. But again, it has the appropriate disclosures, and I have my opt-out and my refer a friend. And I just want to share something. Robin and I participate with Broadridge. They have a kind of a power users product advisory board, and we both are a part of that. And at the last meeting they showed us 3 new newsletter options. I don't think they're going to offer all 3 styles, but the good news is they've had this style for a bit. They know it. They realize they need to do some updating, and they are very close to releasing a much newer look for their newsletters that I think everyone will really be will really appreciate and like. So back to Broadridge. So seminars, I'm not going to go through. You can subscribe to them. They are an additional fee. Same thing for websites. There are many Lincoln advisors who have websites through Broadridge. You don't have to. Obviously, if you wanted to do websites and social media sharing and post videos, it does work nicely to have it all wrapped into one vendor. I'm going to skip web resources and go over to e-cards. And again, e-cards are very similar to what I consider HTML and e-touch, just a lot more options. So from this menu, you can hit this drop down, and these are all the different topics that they have for greeting cards. And you can see not only is it the general like holidays and birthdays, but there are financial topic e-cards, financial planning week, financial literacy awareness month, mid-year checkup, life insurance, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, many more options than my team was able to create for eTouch. So I would select Labor Day's coming up, so let's choose Labor Day. I know it's not too soon, but I would just click Create a Card. And you can see below, here are my options. The various options I have for Labor Day. 2 of them you can see are videos. The rest would be like an HTML greeting. So I could select, I'm going to select the first one. And then I have a choice here. I can keep the default title, keep the default message, change the message. And then I'm going to say save and preview. It should be generating. Oh, here it goes. Just takes a little bit time. Okay, so here's my preview greeting. Happy Labor Day, a nice message, all my appropriate disclosures, my opt-out, and then it says submit for approval. So I would click the submit for approval, and it's almost 2 p.m. Eastern time. I might have an approval by the end of the day Eastern time, or at a minimum, I should have it in the morning. You automatically get notified of the approval within your LinkedIn email account. Go back to my library. And just to kind of give you, here's a few items that I already have sitting here in approved. I've got 2 newsletters and a thanks for our meeting. I'll just click one of them and show you. And so this is an example of a greeting that I created, which not necessarily a greeting, but a communication. So within eTouch, you had the option of doing an e-note, which was really a blank notepad for email. The example that I brought up is the same type of item. It is essentially a blank notepad that you can create and email out from Broadridge. And let me just show you how I quickly did that. Under e-cards and content library, I selected compose content. So it's a little hidden, a little small, but you can always find it in our materials or asking, send out an email to us. And essentially, this is all it is. It's kind of like a little blank electronic notepad. I add my title, I add my text. I could upload an image, so you can't kind of create multiple images or charts within here, but I could upload one image into this compose note. Save and preview. I'm going to be prompted again to submit to compliance. I'll get my approval, and then I would be able to email it out just like I did the concept pieces under advisor. So again, you can see a lot of nice options. Robin will show you where under your clients, My Clients, you can select set and forget. So set and forget is very similar to in eTouch where we had the automated birthday greeting. Within Broadridge, you can choose from a few of their campaigns for set and forget. Not all of them, but you could select the market reviews, the weekly market, you could select the newsletter, and birthday and anniversary. So I will give you a heads up. One of the most frequent questions I get about the birthday and anniversary set and forget is that advisors don't feel like they have a true anniversary date for their client. Within Broadridge, if I select birthdays, I also get anniversaries for set and forget. So an easy workaround would be not to have an anniversary date within your client setup. So I don't want to give too much away from Robin, but Robin will show you when you import your clients, you go through a process to create a file. Once you get the file, I would delete anniversary date if you had them before I uploaded. So if I choose birthday and anniversary as a set and forget campaign, they won't get an anniversary card because there won't be an anniversary date. So if the field is empty, there'll be no greeting. So I think it's a lot, and there's even more that I could show you, but it's about 10 of 2, and I want to hand it over to Robin and let her go through this top right menu item, which is really how you kind of get yourself set up and get started so that you can use all of these great materials. So Angie, do you want to change presenter over to Robin?
Yes, we're doing that right now, and Robin is all set up as a new presenter.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Robin, you're all set up.
Someone will be with you shortly.
All right. Can you?
So sorry, Robin, hold on. We have you unmuted. Sorry about that, Robin. You're all set.
That's okay. No, you're good. Can everybody see my screen? Can you see my screen, Angie?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. So I'm just going to pick up where Linda left off, and just to kind of I'm just going to kind of give you an overview of how you can get started with it. And you do have the ability to set up an assistant within here so that an assistant can go in and send out on your behalf. So it's on like your profile, and they'd be able to send it out. But the first thing that you want to do, if you have not done it, I did go in and look just before we had started this, and I think there's 6 people who have already done their profile. So there are some that I can see have been using it. But up here at the top, that's the first thing you'll want to do is go in here if you've not done so and set your profile. The one neat thing, what Linda has said about this is that whenever you go in here to, are you kidding? Sorry. Let me get back to the menu here. I don't know why it bumped me out. The one neat thing that you can do once you're in here is that everything will automatically go to, you can just submit for approval, so you don't have to upload separately to compliance. Sorry, I'm not sure why it's dragging here. There we go. Okay, so going into profile here. You're going to see once you get into profile, everything, once you click on any of these links up here at the top, down here along the side will be a tab that will kind of walk you through what you can do for your profile. As you see, mine right here is I put some information in and it's sitting in approval pending. I just did that so you could see what it would look like once you had it in there to get your information approved within there. But you would go in here and fill out your personal information on here, and then you just click through each one to be able to enter the information. So you would be able to go in here and put your bio information in. I don't know if it's because I'm on this GoToMeeting, but it seems to be dragging a little bit. You'll be able to go in here, and once you click click your bio, you'd be able to put your bio info in here, and then you can load your pictures here. Once you have, I don't know why this is dragging, I apologize. I think the GoToMeeting is for some reason kicking me out of it. Give me 1 second. See if I can get connected back into it. Is it still showing my screen, Angie?
Yeah, everything's still showing active.
Okay, 1 second. Let's see if it's showing. I think it just kicked me off.
As far as we can see, you're still in.
Okay, all right. Let me see what's going on here.
I'm not sure if it's your Wi-Fi. We see your
That's what I'm
screen.
looking. Okay, do you see it's worth loading Broadridge again?
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Okay.
back on Broadwich now.
Okay, good. Okay, now we're good. Sorry about that, everyone. Sorry for the interruption. So go back to profile here. Now it's moving quick. Okay, they kicked me out of the go-to for briefly. So now you have you can enter your bio information in, and then you can enter your images in, which is your pictures. Just be careful when you choose your file to test it, because, you know, if you don't pick the right size, it could make your pictures, you know, look funky when you send the information out. You have your branding here, which would be where you would load your logo in. So you can load all of this information in. This is where Linda was talking about, that you have the ability here too to select the way that you want your profile laid out. So once you have it in, you can select if you want the header at the top and your logo on the left. And then you can just preview it once you select how you want it to look. You can just click that and click preview, and then it's going to give you the banner of what it would look like. I don't have my picture in there, so obviously that's not going to show that in there, but you can obviously test it out and see how you would like to have your logo set with the header at the top. Once you do that, you can go in here. Now this is where, and Linda talked a little bit about this on the email too. You actually can create custom intro notes so that you don't have to go in each time when you're sending out information. You can just pick which intro note you want to go when you're sending out so if you're sending out a newsletter on a monthly basis, and you don't have it as a set and forget with an intro note, but you want to send it out, you can create, or for different groups of clients, you can set an intro note and just save it and then pick that when you go to send it out. That way you don't have to do it every time. On the disclaimer, so this is the disclosure, obviously, that will go on the bottom of everything. It will already be there, so you don't have to put a disclosure on there. The one thing that I will just point out is right here, if you have a DBA name, when you go, before you submit this for approval, you'll need to make sure that you update that. Everything else will be filled in for you. You'll just need to make sure that you put your DBA name in here before you submit for approval. The last thing down here is your social media. So it does allow you to link to social media accounts, but you'll need to go in here for your state licensures, and you'll need to select which state that you are licensed in so that you can, again, get approved for that in here. And then you just click update. Once you're done, you're going to click submit for approval, and it goes straight to compliance. And they will, once they approve it, you'll receive an email that has been approved, and then you'll be good to go. Once you have your profile set up, the next thing that you may want to do is go in here and set up for your admin to have access, which is super easy to do. And then you only have to set it up once. Once they have access, then they can go in and set up on your behalf. You will actually do that up here. You'll click on your name here in account settings. Right here is what it's over here again. Once you click on something, it's going to go to the menu on the left, and you'll click on My Assistant on the left. And when you click on My Assistant, you'll have the option to put in their email, your assistant name, and the email address. Once you have the assistant name and email address, you're going to click Add Assistant. What that's going to do is it's going to email your assistant a code, a token, and it'll give them an email with the instruction on what to do with that token. Once they get that, they're going to go in and put that information. They're going to put the token into accept assistant invitation. When they accept the assistant invitation, when you come back in here, you will actually see the assistants who have access. The one thing that once the assistant has access, when they go back into here, they'll click on their name up here at the top in a drop down, and they'll have the option to switch. It'll be down here on this menu under log out to switch it over to the advisor that they're supporting. So even if they have, 5 different advisors, 3 different advisors, they could have access, they could get access to all 3, and they could send out on each one of their behalves just from their account. So the key is just going in there, putting the assistant name, email address, and then that assistant will put the token in to accept the invitation. And then once they've accepted the invitation, then you should be good to go to be able to submit on behalf of the advisor. You can do that first if you wanted to, and then the assistant could go in and fill out all the profile information as well. It's kind of up to you because you can set the assistant before you did the profile. It's just kind of, how you would want to set it up in order to do it. So that's the 2 pieces. Those are the 2 biggest pieces to get set up. It's the profile, set up your assistant. And then the 3rd piece of it would be to go in here to add your clients. So there's a couple of different ways you can get your client information in here. One way is if you are a user of Redtail today. So if you use Redtail as your CRM, you can either link Redtail to Broadridge. You can get an export from us from eTouch for all your clients that we have in eTouch. Or if you have your clients stored on another system and you can get the information into an Excel spreadsheet, they have an import that you can do as well. So again, I clicked on my clients. You'll see the menu over here on the left, and you'll go over here to import export. This is how you're going to get your client information into there. You can do a quick where you're just adding clients at a time. Obviously, that's not the most efficient way to do it if you have lots of clients. But the other option over here, so that each one of these are tabs across. You have your quick upload where you're just adding the contacts one at a time. You have your upload CSV. Now this is where it actually has a template for you. So this is for the advisors who may not use Redtail or don't want the export from eTouch. Then you can, if you can get your clients information, you can put them into the template. You can either upload them yourself, or actually it's probably easier if you send it to this email address if you do it that way, just because what they'll do is they'll scrub that spreadsheet for you. If there's anything that won't allow it to load, they'll go through and find out what the error is and fix it so that they'll all load within there. That's the one way to do it, is upload the CSV. The other way is through Redtail. There's 2 different ways through Redtail that you can import the clients. Now, right now, Broadridge is doing a lot of work with Redtail. Just to let everybody know, that's one of the things that they're working on through the summer. We haven't got the exact date of when it'll be done, but one of the things that they're doing right now is to make this integration better, because right now when you put your username and password in, it's just going to import your whole client list at one time. We have had some people who have had issues with that. If they have a lot of clients, it may, not import, or if some addresses aren't filled in all the way. So one of the things that they are working on is to be able to make the import an easier process between Redtail and Broadridge. Also, it'll allow them to post notes, or it will post a note when you send out to your client. It doesn't do that today, but that's one of the things that they're working on with the new integration that they're building. But as of right now, you could put your username and password in. Like I said, it will import all of your clients at once. It won't allow you to import groups right now. That's another piece that they are working on for the new integration between the 2. But once you import your clients, and once they're in there, and you can see the client list once you import it in. So I've got some test clients in here that I've worked with and imported from my Redtail into it. And once you have the clients, you'll see a client list in here. One of the good things about the client list, once you have it in here, you send out from your campaigns, it's going to keep a record over here when you go to your client list of if they, if it bounced back, if there's, you're going to be able to have all kinds of metrics from when your client opens, if they opted out. You're going to be able to see that from if you do campaigns, you're going to be able to see it from the campaigns and all of anything that you send out to clients. It's going to keep a record of that, and you're going to be able to kind of see if they opened it, if they read it. But it'll keep all of that on your within your client list, and then some reporting within there. Once you have your clients in there, you do have the ability to create groups within there to be able to add the clients into a group. So you can add the group and then assign the clients to the group. So if you have a group of, something that you're going to send out for 529 accounts, you can create a group of that and keep it in here. And then when you go to send out a piece to that group, all you have to do is select that group instead of selecting client by client. Right here, this is another thing where it's going to actually give you a list. Like if you have sent out to your clients, it's, you're going to have the opt-ins and opt-outs from here. You'll be able to see that. They also have this a prospect form within here, which they have actually been doing some work on it. This is something new that they came out with within there. So you can, personalized message for prospecting and send that out as well. And then down here is if you have any of, just to kind of go through the list of what we have, but if you have anything that's set up, like as a set and forget, or you have something scheduled to go out, you'll actually be able to see on a calendar. It'll keep a calendar of everything that's set to go out. Any of your campaigns that are going out, it'll keep it on a calendar for you so that you can go in. So if you've got multiple things set like throughout the month to go out, this is just a good way to, keep track of what you have going out to your clients. Also from here, you have, go here to the account settings, just so you, no, sorry. My mouse is clicking quicker than I am. Okay, so also from my clients over here. Sorry, I was trying to get back to here, just so you. Sorry, my clicker is behind. What I wanted to say is over here on the main page, I know Linda talked a lot about this main page, is that you have your client, here is where you can go down here and see all of your client activity. Once you have all of your campaigns set, you have the ability to go in here under the content sharing. Under this is where you would do your set and forget. Under here, you can create a new set and forget. So this is where you're going to create a new campaign. Please select the campaign that you want, and it's going to give you all of the options within here. So you have your anniversary and birthday. This is where Linda was talking about for the anniversary in the birthdays, the set and forget if you didn't have the date on the anniversary. And how would you like to share this campaign? If you would like to do, through email or select the options. You could set email, and then you're going to have some defaults that set up here. So you have your use default email subject. So you would enter your subject in here. You would always want to add the disclaimer and add your title within there. And then if you wanted to do groups, so you could set it up to for each one of your groups. And then you want to do contact with any status. So you could do, if you were wanting to do just prospect only or client only, and then you would just submit. And then this is going to set it up. So I will just click submit so that you can see it. And now I have it set right here. So I've got my anniversary, birthday set to automatically go out. And I'm actually going to delete that because I don't want anything to go out. This is where so that's just for the set and forget. You have the ability also to, once you have your campaign, scheduled, it's going to show you your sharing activity there. And then your history here is where it's going to give you all of the history of anything that you've sent out and the type that what you've sent out in there. So you can run reports off of that. And then any of your campaigns. You actually can run reports, set reports on anything that you've sent out within there. I haven't sent any campaigns out, but it'll give you a list of any of the campaigns that you've set out, and then you can run reports based on, or you can filter down based on the campaigns that you've ran within there. So it's just an easy way for you to be able to send out your information without having to remember to go in and send out the newsletters. You can automatically have it sent out, on a monthly basis for that group of clients. So I apologize for all of the technical difficulties that I had. I don't know, things were running kind of weird on the GoToMeeting within there. But for that, is there questions that you have for me and Linda?
So, and you've been waiting. So we are unmuting everybody in case you have any questions for Linda and Robin. Linda and Robin, thank you so much, both of you, for all your time. And we're opening it up to make sure that everybody can, if anyone has any questions, that they can go ahead and ask.
Hi, this is Ryan Day. I've got a question for Linda.
Yep.
So earlier in the presentation, you had mentioned that we could do our CFP continuing education through Broadridge. Is that a free service to Lincoln, or is that just another place to buy it?
Nope, it's a free service. So the 4 main tabs that we talked about, advisor, CE, newsletters, and e-cards, everything under those tabs are free services as part of the tech package.
Great, that's a huge benefit.
Yeah, that's why we think of Broadridge as marketing content and educational content, and I really think the CE portion is a little hidden gem that I know myself I need to do a better job of promoting. But yes, that you can, I think it's up to there's enough modules to get your 30 hours, but there's one required module that Broadridge doesn't offer, so you can't quite get all 30.
Right. Another quick question / comment on the Key Numbers 2019 Business Builder. I'm one of those reps that uses that every year and was always wondering, and late January, hey, is it ready yet? Is it ready yet? So knowing that the field is sort of anticipating that, and I guess also knowing, I think you'd mentioned that it's available toward the end of December for the next year. Is there a way that you can, or that maybe Broadridge does this already, but you could broadcast email all of the field and say, we know so many of you want this, you're waiting for it, here it is, or something like that, so we don't have to remember or go in and search for it, that it's just ready to get. That would just be a suggestion.
Right. No, so absolutely. So you have two ways you'll hear about it. Earlier in the year, we did it through Advisor Week. I know Advisor Week is getting jam-packed and there's a lot to read, but that item is significant enough to be a standalone article in Advisor Week. And I do believe if it qualifies in Broadridge as a new alert, like a new type of alert, you would automatically now get that in your email from Broadridge by signing up, by doing the single sign-on.
Yeah. I liked that you had two of them. You have a 2-pager, which was basically your tax brackets and some very basic info, which was 2 pages. And then the key numbers, which is like 30 pages. And they're both good for different scenarios. So if possible, I would suggest having both of them available and advertising both of them again this year. That was, again, appreciated.
Yep, thank you.
And not to dominate, I've got another question or comment, if that's okay.
Sure.
So the next question was simply, one of the issues that I had when I looked into Broadridge earlier this year, and maybe this is changing, but it felt like if I imported my client database, it was static. It just sat inside Broadridge, and it never recognized or understood if I added new clients between the date that I imported them and, say, 4 months later. And so a lot of the functionality that you're showing, just correct me if I'm wrong, I would have to re-import before every campaign. Does that sound right? To make sure I've got every single person in there?
So tell me, are you coming from Redtail or eTouch?
Redtail, sorry.
Okay, Robin, can you answer the Redtail portion?
I can, yeah. You would have to do that, Brian. As of right now, I know, like I said, that they're working on the integration between the two, and I'm not sure, like, if that will always be the case, but as of right now, you definitely will have to make sure that you're grabbing all your clients. You will have to re-import. Now, it's not going to create duplicates. What it'll do is it'll just look for any clients that are not in there, and then it'll just say this. It'll say like 5 clients have been added to your already created list there.
I don't know if there's a way to do this, but if we could do it in reverse order, that would be helpful, which means the piece is created in Broadridge, but right now in Redtail, I can already broadcast email however I want, and I don't have to switch anything from Redtail to Lincoln or to Broadridge. So right now I can just target my A and B clients, ignore the C's or, whatever, my C clients. But if I just had the piece, like I do, this is what I do right now, for instance, Linda, with the tax info. I grab the tax info, create a PDF, customize it, and then I send it out from my Redtail instead of trying to import my clients from Redtail to Broadridge and then broadcast email through Broadridge.
Right. So you can do that for most pieces. I don't want to say all of them. So as I was showing you, as you select a piece, the blue menus at the top, if PDF is available, you could PDF it, save it to your desktop, throw it into Broadridge. Put it into Redtail.
And then shoot it out.
If you're already doing that with key numbers, then it would work with any other PDF that you generate out of Broadridge.
Maybe I was, I don't know, amalgamating all of it, but it seemed like the weekly numbers or the quarterly numbers, I don't know if I could, maybe quarterly numbers, that's the wrong one, but I think it was like if I wanted to send out a client video where there were several pieces that were not customizable or downloadable, it had to go through Broadridge. And it's not a criticism, it's more just understanding the, sorry if it's coming across that way, but it's more just recognizing that there were some things that had to be sent out through Broadridge, and for me to embrace it, I had to then sort of redo it, meaning import all of my clients every single time in a fresh way if I was going to do it on a consistent basis, versus if everything Broadridge had was just downloadable as a PDF, then I could just always say, oh, wow, I'm going to grab this piece this time. I'm going to grab this quarterly marketing update. I'm going to grab this video. I'm going to grab whatever it was. That would be easier.
Yeah, and one of the nice things about Robin and I being on their product advisory board is that we get the opportunity to take feedback back to them. It doesn't mean, all of our wishes are going to come true, but there are some limitations. But I have to say that I think the amount of content and the types of resources that you can do within Broadridge make up for some of those limitations.
Sure.
Advisors we have a lot of advisors who are in eTouch, and, they're not even used to Redtail, and the materials, obviously eTouch was built internally, so there's no integration with Broadridge, and a lot of the CRM type of features of eTouch will be going away. It's a program programming that's no longer going to be supported at some time. So for the eTouch users, this is their alternative to HTML and to greetings and campaigns, and it's a learning curve. We've built kind of like a little CSV, which is just a file type, the little import file type that looks at eTouch, takes all the correct mapping fields and puts it in an import ready file to go into Broadridge for those who aren't Redtail. And the same question comes up, what happens when new clients get added to eTouch? And again, they don't talk to each other. And we have recommended that depending on how many new clients, like if you think quarterly is a good number, I would run the CSV file quarterly. I would sort by date entered, and I would just grab the new people and import them. And as Robin said, they don't do dupes. Their duping looks at email address. So if you have a client and they already have an email address, they're not going to get duped in Redtail. But so, I find it to be, more comforting to just grab the sort by date entered and just import, whatever it is, 10, 15 new records into Broadridge. And we get it. It's not, we wish there was a better way, but Broadridge and Redtail and obviously eTouch, there's three separate vendors. And as much as Robin can work with Broadridge directly on integration, it's only going to be integration with Redtail. And, she's making a lot of headway. And I think it's a really positive sign that they've invited both of us to their advisory board. So keep it, so more ideas just go on our list to share with them. And, whatever they chip away and do for us, it's great for all of our advisors. So certainly if you have other ideas, continue to share them.
Yeah. Thanks for all your work. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions? No, John, are you there?
Angie, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I've been trying to get in and I couldn't get in. But hey, listen, we are way over time, which is a great thing because that means that we hit on a subject that, first of all, has a lot of meat to it, and secondly, was of high interest. And so, first of all, thank you, Linda and Robin, for all the time you've given us today. Also for the tools that have been made available. There's clearly a lot of opportunity here that we need to probably be taking better advantage of. So we will follow up. First of all, there'll be recording of this presentation available, and then we will also follow up with some other emails and information to make sure that everyone knows how to access the information, who to go to at Lincoln for help and support, and hopefully all of you will be able to find something here that will help you grow your business. So thanks so much to everyone. Anyone that has any other very specific questions, pass them along to us. We'll make sure they get answered. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the summer, and we'll look forward to speaking to all of you again very soon. Take care.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.